Hello friends! Welcome back to the end of week 2 and the beginning of week 3. First, let me take you back through the week past. The beginning of the week was pretty rough. I just wasn't feeling the best, so I attempted to push through, but perhaps maybe I should have been taking a step back. Sometimes it's hard to strike the right balance between productivity and taking care of yourself. And it's definitely something I'm working on. On Monday, I decided to take my first real fishing trip of the year. I went down to one of my favorite spots where I typically have to hike in almost a mile to my favorite location. It was a beautiful warm day, and although I did not have any bites, I did take the opportunity to enjoy nature, and if you saw last week's video, do my planning right there on the shore. Again, since it was such a nice day, I just could not resist going into the garden, and it just warmed my heart to see so many signs of life. And these cute little guys are the first sign of color of spring. So the only other sign of life on March 10th that I have here are some wild strawberries and some mint here in the corner. I can't wait for garden season to get into full swing and for spring to really be here. And also, I just could not resist taking a few minutes to plant just one row of radish seeds. I have 2 little rows here. Oh, we'll see what'll come of that. I am also hoping to plant some seeds indoors to get things going for when we can plant outside. I had this little greenhouse for a few years now. I've never gotten around to set it up and use it, but this year is the year. I did set up this greenhouse. It was not too difficult, although it's definitely not a quality product, and some of the plastic holes did not quite fit those metal tubings. But I think once it's all put together, it kind of holds itself in place, even if there are a few weak spots. But I guess the real test is going to be once it has trays and pots with soil on it, and if it will hold up to that weight. Unfortunately, I did not get to use the greenhouse this day because I did not have any seed starting mix or even potting soil, and I simply ran out of time to get some. Tuesday, I really had to step back and take some time. It truly was the lowest I had felt in a few months. Low energy and no motivation. And that's the kind of attitude I had going into Wednesday. But because I was making a video, I did try to push myself. And honestly, I'm not sure if it was the satisfaction with the productivity I had that day or just getting out of my own head. But I did end up feeling much better towards the evening. And this slow start to the week really left a lot to be done on Thursday. As you can see, I filled up this whole list, although not everything got completed, but I did do a lot of my cleaning tasks and tried to get everything ready for game night that I had that evening. Additionally, I had some unexpected work stuff going on, and that needed a lot of my attention and mental energy. But I have to say, the one thing that was pretty hard to get going on that day, and I am very proud of, is that I washed the floor. I absolutely do not wash my floors often enough, and typically I go for the old school bucket, rag, on your knees, scrubbing the floors kind of method. I am usually very happy with the results of that method. However, I do have a mop that I had never used before and had purchased maybe 2 years ago, thinking it would make my life easier. And this is the day that I decided to bring that out. Here is a little clip of me struggling with the mop. Okay guys, this is the riveting content we're all here for. This middle-aged woman will be using a mop for the very first time. I have to say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I am not thrilled with the results, but that could be user error. I don't know why it feels like I'm just moving dirt around. Obviously for me, nothing will ever be hands and knees, a bucket and a cloth. But in the interest of saving my knees and time, we gotta try out this mop that's been sitting unopened for 2 years or so. I don't know if I'm not putting enough water. Maybe I'm bringing it out too much, or I need to press harder, but it's just not great. Honestly, it's gonna be better than nothing, but still not great. And although I was not 100% satisfied with the results, my floors were certainly cleaner than they were before. And I guess I really need to lean into that progress over perfection stuff. The following day, I had made plans with my sister to go for a hike. Though it was not a very long hike, but between the driving, stopping for breakfast, stopping at a store on the way back, that did take up most of my day. Between that, Friday's video, and work, that's really all I could fit in. But I did have a very nice time with my sister, and it was great to get outside. On Saturday, one of my friends had some unexpected time open up, so we did go on an impromptu hike very early in the morning. This hike, unlike the one the day before, ended up being much longer, somewhat longer than we expected. So we hiked about 8 miles in 3 hours, which is a very good pace for us. We had lots of fun, but boy, was getting out of bed the next morning hard. Additionally, by the time Saturday came around, I was pretty behind on the things I wanted to get done. At this point, I still had 3 tasks from my cleaning list that needed doing. I really did not have any gas in the tank left, but I am proud of myself that I did end up doing some dishes and quickly watering the plants. However, the clothes did not get folded. All in all, I'm very proud of myself that things did get done this week, in spite of me not being at my best for various reasons, but those are the ebbs and flows of life. All right, let's flip back to our calendar here. If you look at my habits tracker, I have generally been doing quite well with everything except the flossing. For some reason, it seems like I'm falling off a little bit here. So I really need to make a conscious effort this coming week to focus on having my floss available and out in the open so that it reminds me of what needs to be done. All that to say is that it's time to plan for the coming week. I have already drawn out my week here. Let's just label everything. Now, guys, for this week, my hope is that it will be very productive. I really want to set myself up for success. I don't have many events happening this week, except that the foster cat is scheduled for a neuter appointment on the 18th, and that will basically entail me dropping him off in the morning and picking him up in the late afternoon. Other than that, I do want to be home throughout the latter part of the week just to monitor him, make sure that he's okay and he's not messing with his stitches. So I do really want to plan around that and get things done around the house. Because of that, this week, I really want to focus on my goal of organizing my pantry. It's a big job. I am dreading it a little bit, but I know I'll be very happy once it's done. But also, it's a goal that's going to keep me in the house so I can be around for him. Aside from organizing the pantry, I want to continue working on setting up my journal and doing some more work in the garden, as well as finally planting some of those seeds into the greenhouse I prepared last week, because I do feel like I'm running a bit late on that. Okay, so let's flip back to our week, add our one and only event for the week, and go from there. Now, there are 2 other things I want to keep front of mind for this coming week. Number 1 is to try and not leave as many things to be done later in the week. I really don't want to be in the position I was in last week where I had cleaning tasks left over at the end of the week that I had a really hard time getting to. So hopefully this week I can focus on a lot of this earlier in the week, along with cleaning out my pantry. And like I mentioned before, the other thing I want to have front of mind is my flossing habit, which again, I have been struggling with here a little bit. So I just want to be mindful of that and keep an eye out. All right, so here we are at the beginning of week 3. I have a plan. I know where I stand. I know what I want to focus on. I think I'm pretty well set up for success. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.